Today, we will be looking at the 7 strategies Netflix plans to use after losing 1 million subscribers. If you have been trying to learn more about the downfall that has been impacting one of the world's leading streaming services, well, then this one's for you. Netflix entered the business 10 years ago and was one of the leading names in the streaming scene up until recently. Lately, the platform has been up against a seriously bad recession. Streaming platforms check their analytics every 3 months. These are called quarters. In the second quarter of 2022, the streaming giant lost a whopping number of 970,000 subscribers. In short, life isn't so great on Netflix's side of the media world. Therefore, it's time for them to take action. But what exactly could they do to get their subscribers back? Throughout this video, we will be sharing these 7 strategies Netflix plans to use after losing 1 million subscribers. But before we get started, please remember to take a quick second and support our content by liking, subscribing, and turning the notification bell on. This helps us create more videos like this for your entertainment. If you're all set, then let's get started. Number 1, they are finding solace in a new business partner, and it's Bill Gates. Netflix first rolled out as an alternative to cable TV. It did not offer any ads, and people thrived on that for a long while, especially during the COVID-19 pandemic, at least until the company increased their subscription fees. While the first year of the coronavirus pandemic brought a huge following to Netflix, both within the streaming platform and their social media accounts, things started to look down pretty quickly. As time passed and people started going back to watching media in person, Netflix slowly started to look like a luxury. This new luxury resulted in 2 different outcomes. Firstly, people who could no longer afford Netflix or simply like the nostalgia of a movie theater better started canceling their accounts. On the flip side of things, people who wanted to hold on to their subscriptions for the sake of shows like Bridgerton and Stranger Things found solace in sharing their accounts with loved ones. Just like how people found their workarounds to access content while avoiding ginormous bills from the Los Gatos-based streaming platform, Netflix also found a way of making more money while letting its users enjoy a lower cost of subscription. So, how are they going to do this, you ask? By using ads, of course. However, these ads are not going to be the cheap kind. As of late, Netflix and Microsoft have announced an official joining of forces. With Bill Gates on their side, the company believes that their ad system will be looking much more different than it does now. They just need a few years to get themselves sorted out, or so their claims are. Number 2, they are rolling out new fees in certain countries as a test project. Remember how we just mentioned the fact that more and more people were leaning towards sharing Netflix accounts and paying a single-person fee for cheaper prices? Well, don't fool yourselves. Netflix is aware of this just as much as the rest of us are. The company even admitted that their growth has slowed down due to people sharing their accounts with one another. Another thing they added was that this is a more common case in Latin American countries. But with that kind of corrupted economy, could anybody really blame them? If you're watching our videos from somewhere in Latin America, rest assured, Netflix isn't out to get you, nor are they pointing blaming fingers at you for their recession. The company is just clearly aware of the economic strain that it has been putting on users who are trying to hold on to their subscriptions with them. This is why they are rolling out a new and extra fee for certain Latin American countries. These fees are for added members, and they cost much less than a regular full-on subscription. However, depending on how they perform, they might not be a keeper. Netflix has no means of blocking people from sharing passwords with others, so this added member fee is a simple solution that relies heavily on hope. The company executives admitted that too. They even made parallels between their situation and shoplifting, saying they were like a grocery store who claimed they could convert shoplifters into regular loyal customers, which is why they are testing the idea out in certain Latin American countries, including Argentina, Guatemala, the Dominican Republic, El Salvador, and Honduras. Members from these countries will now be able to purchase an additional pass for streaming access for each home. This also benefits large families who want to have access to one single Netflix subscription, and the platform has seen somewhat of a growth from their new system, so maybe it will work out in the long run after all. Number 3, they are trying to budget out their spendings. In the past years of its existence, Netflix has been known for its costly, splishy, splashy productions that served as eye candy to streamers. Just look at literally any episode of Stranger Things if you don't know what we mean. However, after their recent downfall in subscriber numbers, the streaming platform seems to be taking a rather budget-friendly approach towards the content they are putting out there. According to the interviews given by Netflix officials, they are looking to minimize their budget as much as the means will allow. This is a good tactic for weathering a storm, and it looks like Netflix is hoping to ride this dire wave out with a few precautions like this one. They already have some high-performing shows that bring revenue to the platform, so it would only make sense to cut back on new content when they can't actually be sure about its performance. Why invest in a gold mine when you can continue digging out some diamonds elsewhere, right? This could also mean that you will end up seeing a lot more of those no-name actors and actresses on the platform. Netflix is a company that started out in Los Gatos, California, and California is full of rising talent. It shouldn't be so hard for them to get their hands on a couple sets of promising people. That being said, content spending doesn't seem to be the only thing that the company is looking to budget. Even though they have yet to cut any employees out, this could also be a budgeting format that they are willing to look into. With the inflation rates going up and the subscriber rates going down, people are starting to speculate whether Netflix will actually be able to hold on to all of its employees. Number 4, they plan on launching a cheaper subscription in the next 2 years. Just as we mentioned in the beginning of this video, Netflix entered the market with a strong claim of being an ad-free alternative to your usual television network habits. Sadly, their current situation does not leave them in a position where they are able to focus on keeping their platform free of ads, at least not in the current pricing range that they have. Therefore, the people over at Netflix are now looking into something we couldn't have ever seen them doing before this recession. That's right, folks, Netflix is bringing ads back, and unfortunately, they will be here to stay since this is not your average temporary fix. If an ad-free experience is what your heart desires, then you will be forced to pick a higher-end subscription from their tier. Netflix doesn't exactly plan to roll this solution out for a while, at least not for the next year or two. Perhaps this is them trying to see if they will be able to increase revenue before having to go back to ads. Clearly, nobody likes ads in this household, but what do you think? Would you like a new lower tier subscription with ads for the sake of pricing? Let us know in the comments section below. Number 5, they are holding on to well-performing content tighter now than ever. Now that the budget for purchasing and putting out new content has tightened, Netflix is gripping tighter onto the high-quality content that actually brings in the highest revenue. As of now, that show is Stranger Things. Since the second half of the newest season aired, Netflix has seen a little bit of growth. Sure, it's nothing to go crazy over, but the company hasn't denied that the sci-fi show has been their saving grace in such stressful times. In other words, you would be correct to assume that a good majority of Netflix's shooting budget will go to the expenses from future Stranger Things seasons. While this may seem like a dull idea to people who aren't necessarily big on sci-fi content, fans of the show are probably going to rejoice in the thought of having their favorite characters with them for a longer period. But really, who could blame Netflix for their one source of proper income when the show has increased their revenue by a whopping 3%? The justification here, well, it's pretty solid. Number 6, they are trying to improve their marketing skills. Time for a pop quiz. When was the last time that you saw a Netflix ad that made you think, wow, that looks so cool, and immediately subscribed to the platform? For most of us, it's been quite a while. If you don't get the relevancy of this, you are not alone because apparently Netflix didn't get it either, at least not until their unfathomable recession. Thankfully, they have started to backtrack and are hoping to fix that mistake. According to the officials, they are hoping to focus more on their marketing strategy. If they start prioritizing their marketing as much as they do the kind of content they put out, they should be able to climb back up pretty quickly. We don't know whether they will do that by bringing on a new team or not, but it sure is something to look forward to. Number 7, they are going to focus better on monetization. Marketing can only do so much good if you don't know how to monetize your content, sources, and audience. Anyone who deals with social media knows this. They even teach monetization in some business courses nowadays. As it appears, Netflix employees are going to be needing some of those business courses safely tucked in their back pockets, because Netflix has officially decided to focus on better monetization. This is definitely a step in the right direction because once they were able to serve their crowd better, more users will decide to stay on the platform. One such method is the games section that they rolled out, so maybe they could get some more improvements in that area as well. Gamers and television junkies rejoice. This downfall might actually be a blessing in disguise because in turn we will be getting better curated, higher quality content. Now who doesn't like the sound of that? Because we sure do. And that marks the end of our video. If you enjoyed watching this, then be sure to let us know by giving us a thumbs up. Want to be the first to know when we have a new video? Then turn on the bell to be notified every time we upload one. Finally, if you're looking for something to binge on, you can click on the video that's currently on your screen, and we'll see you in the next video.